They feel they're not doing a good job unless they put in all those hours. So it's the consciences really of the teachers that we're relying on.
I've only been teaching for 4 years and already feeling it. It's made me not want to be a teacher for much longer.
Why are you dressed as a bear today?
I'm dressed as a bear, obviously up here supporting the teachers, striking to defend education.
And if you could send the government one message, what would it be?
Pay us what we're worth. Well, teachers coming into the job, they're only lasting in the job for 2 or 3 years, so we're not keeping the new teachers. I've myself been in teaching for over 20 years. That's not possible anymore with staff now. They're coming in, doing 3 years, and they're going on to something else that pays the same, less stress.
So we're working 10 to 12-hour days. People talk about the holidays, but actually when you work out the number of hours that we work in a week, lots of teachers work 7 days a week. Lots of people work in their holidays, so it's, when people talk about, they've got 13 weeks of holidays, teachers, most of the time they've already worked those holidays during the 7 days in a week.
I've only been teaching for 4 years and already feeling it. It's made me not want to be a teacher for much longer, which is quite a frustrating situation because when I came into teaching I really was quite passionate, sort of dwindled quite a lot.
Don't get paid any overtime.
Don't get paid overtime, no anything like that. So again, you have no work-life balance. You're not getting paid enough to live in the cities. I think it probably gets worse as you go up north. And it's a brilliant job. It's the best job in the world, but it's exhausting.
You said off camera that you've recently changed careers to be a teacher from you were a lawyer before. Yes. What prompted the career change?
I wanted to learn again. I'd reached a point in my career I wasn't really learning, to be challenged, but also it was the lockdown. I wanted to help children whose education was suffering because they couldn't go to school, they didn't have access to teachers.
Well, look, you've got to make a stand. You've got to show your children that we mean action. Sometimes with a bit of guilt, because you don't always want to leave children behind, that they're not being educated, but you do it for a reason. The big reason is next generation has teachers that stay in the job as long as me and are productive in the job, or not coming in as a part-time basis but staying there for 15, 20 years.
And then what would you say to the parents today?
We're not doing it because we're money grabbers. We're not doing it because we don't care about kids. We do care about kids. We want your kids to be educated. We want teachers to stay in the job. That's why we're here.
Why are so many newer teachers leaving?
The workload is too high. The pressure is very intense. I think there's a lot of issues which need to be faced that I definitely don't have the answers for, but we know that there needs to be a change. And with 50% of teachers leaving in the first 5 years of being in the profession, that's clear in and of itself that the system isn't working as it stands.
Because the pay rise that we got the other day, the schools were not given the funding to give us that pay rise. So lots of schools are in deficit by, £100,000, just one little primary school, because the government have not given them that funding. So teachers will start to leave. There will be no education. There will be no state education. And I think that's the worry now, is that the government want everybody to start paying for things. So your quality of life will be absolutely eroded for the nurse, for the health service, for the education, for all public services.
How have you found teaching so far? Is it what you thought it would be like?
Yes, it's a lot more than actually teaching. I hadn't realised there's so many aspects of it. The safeguarding of the children, all the organisation. You don't just stand in a classroom and teach. You do so much more. So it's a much more diverse job than I think people realise, and therefore a more demanding job. In a way, the standing up teaching the children is almost the easy bit.
Obviously, you love the job, being able to work with children. It's super rewarding. Unfortunately, the financial aspect of it doesn't reflect that, and it's getting increasingly hard with the cuts that are being made in schools. Employing support staff, getting specialist teachers in, paying for all the additional resources is getting harder and harder for schools, where 95% of them are going to be in deficit next year. It's just a struggle, but incredibly rewarding, and a job I love, and one that I'd love to be able to continue doing for the rest of my career.
How often do you guys work beyond the hours you're contracted to?
Every week.
Yeah, I'm not really aware of what we're meant to be. I just continue working until they get everything done.
Yeah. Getting it just before 7:30, leave after 6:30, do some work at home, or at the weekends.
Yeah. Especially when I was a trainee teacher, it was pretty much non-stop.
to make a direct comparison between working as a lawyer. As a lawyer, I was paid 4 times as much as I get now, and I work part-time. Now I work full-time, and I'm earning a quarter of what I was earning, and that's disgusting.
You're seeing your pay decrease and you see the prices go up, so it's very difficult to juggle those prices, particularly with your not just the cost of living, with your utility bills going up. Yeah, everybody's feeling the pinch, and so are teachers. And I think teachers who have been in the job starting are going to feel it more than that as well.
How often would you say you work your hours?
Oh, I mean, never really, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's a job of passion. You know, the things you do for passion as well, you'll always go above and beyond. And, you know, to have our pay reflected in that would be, you know, fantastic.
I suppose you can't pay your bills with passion, can you?
No, yeah, no, exactly that. It only keeps you going so far. There's still the real life side of things to deal with.
You're working 10, 11-hour day. Not every day, but I used to work an 11-hour day as a lawyer, and I got paid for that. I didn't get overtime, but I got a very good salary. The teachers, they're just getting barely anything, and yet they're expected to work all of those hours because the job demands it. It's not someone telling them to do it, it's them doing it because they...
If you'd send the government one message, what would it be?
Pay us what we're worth.
I mean, I've had to stop paying my pension contributions at the moment just to be able to continue paying the day-to-day.
They feel they're not doing a good job unless they put in all those hours. So it's the consciences really of the teachers that we're relying on, and they don't get rewarded for that at all.